Paul Argueta here. If you're a real estate agent or a real estate broker like me, you've hired professional videographers or you've used your own camera to create videos for the properties that you represent for sale. Now, what do you do when the only people seeing these videos are your clients, your home sellers, and yourself? I'm going to give you 5 cheap tips that are going to help you get those views through the roof and get your videos more exposure. Hey guys, so thanks for visiting my channel. Make sure that you click on the subscribe button below so that way you can have access to all of the trainings that I offer. Look, the truth is I am my own guinea pig, so I experiment a lot, I try different things, I'm not afraid to fail, and then what I'll do is the stuff that works, I make sure that I bring it back to you in the form of these videos and in the form of these trainings. So make sure that you click on the subscribe button, but in addition to that, I want you to ring the bell. Click on the alert button below. There's a small bell icon. I want you to click on that so that you can get immediate alerts as soon as I upload new content and new videos that are going to help you improve your business. All right. Now, in addition to that, I want to make sure that if you have any additional comments or ideas that you think might work in relation to this particular training, make sure that you comment below. I do a really good job of monitoring those comments so that I can respond back to them. And at the same time, we can have an open dialogue on what's working and what isn't working for you based on this training. Now, before I get started, let me preface my training with this statement. I believe in specialization. In other words, I want the pros to do what they're good at. So I believe in hiring a videographer for the videos. I believe in hiring a photographer for my photos. I believe in hiring someone that can manage the 3D virtual tour Matterport camera. I believe in outsourcing to an editor or having an in-house editor. These are all valuable tools that I think you should probably outsource. But I know what it's like to be brand new. I know what it's like to have a limited budget, and I'm going to be teaching you tips that will help you get by while you build momentum and build your business so that you can't really give any excuses to why you can't do the things that I'm going to teach you how to do today. Tip number 1, use the camera on your smartphone. Now, there are a couple disclaimers here. Number 1, these days I use a professional photographer, but if I had to start all over and I was on a limited budget, I wouldn't hesitate using the camera on my smartphone so long as it's at least 8 megapixels or above. Now, another disclaimer, the camera phone won't work in poorly lit areas, and I don't want you taking pictures using the LED flash of your phone. The quality isn't good, it's grainy, sometimes it's blurry, and it's not gonna do your client the justice that it deserves for getting that property sold. So, number 1, if it's well lit, go ahead, use the camera phone. That does mean that it may require you coming in, pulling all the drapes, turning on all the lights, allowing as much natural sunlight as you possibly can so that you can make sure that it's well lit when you take those pictures using your smartphone. Now, if you're not going to use your smartphone, then at least have a backup source, a DSLR, so that you can take the pictures yourself. Lastly, even if you do have a professional photographer taking the pictures for you, own it. Take ownership of these photos. In other words, you have the responsibility of making sure that the house looks its best. So, if you walk in and you see a laundry basket in somebody's bedroom, move it out of the way during the photos. Go put some stuff in the closet. If you see a few beds that aren't made, hey, it happens. I have 5 children of my own. I know what it's like getting them to make their beds. And if you walk into a room where they're going to be shooting photos or you're going to be taking those photos, then by all means, at least pull the sheets up so that it looks like the bed is made, right? Do your job and make sure that the property looks its best. So, tip number 1, right? Feel free to use your camera phone if it's well lit. Tip number 2. Use photo image enhancing software or services. Now, I like using a service called Box Brownie. So, if you are going to be taking the photos yourself And in some cases, if you're going to be hiring a professional photographer to do this, I'd still recommend using them. You can upload your photos into Box Brownie and they will enhance the images to make them pop. Okay, now, I do know that there are some people that are pretty savvy with Photoshop. And listen, by no means am I telling you to go out there and enhance the images so that you put a pool on a home that doesn't have a pool. That's not what I'm telling you to do. But again, as real estate agents, it's our job to make sure that the properties look their best. Box Brownie does a really good job of enhancing those images, okay? They can actually remove stuff from the property as well. So for instance, if you have any debris or stuff or furniture in areas that you don't want there, you can have them removed, and you can even add furniture and you can virtually stage it as well. I like their service. It usually costs about $1.60 to $2 for any image enhancement. If you're gonna be removing stuff or adding stuff to it, it does cost a little bit more. My favorite feature is the dusk enhancement. Now, what I do is I typically will take my exterior photos. Again, these are the ones that are provided to me from a professional photographer. I will upload them into Box Brownie, and then they will create these images that look like the photos were taken just before sunset, and they look phenomenal and they definitely stand out. So if you're gonna be taking the photos yourself, and even if you do use a professional photographer, I recommend using Box Brownie to enhance those images for you. Tip number 3, sign up for a service that creates videos using your photos or video clips. Now, I use a service called Magisto. M as in Mary, A, G as in goat, I, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, O, Magisto.com. It costs about $70 a month. And I will say this, I'm pretty proficient at Adobe Premiere now. So I've gotten pretty good at getting my photos, my video clips in. I know how to do really unique transitions. I've gotten pretty good at it, but I will say this, it's time consuming. And at the beginning of this training, as I said earlier, I believe in specialization, so I'm gonna let the people who are good at certain things do what they're good at. Magisto is one of those services. I realize it's not the cheapest service in the world, but it does a really good job of combining my photos and my videos to create a quick 1 to 2 minute video with music and with subtitles and with, no, excuse me, not with subtitles, but with titles and text over those images. So the reason that I use them is because this way I could take the photos that I already have, and then I could take the video clips that I already have, whether I take them horizontally or vertically, and I upload them, and it'll create a quick video for me with music. Then what I will do is I will download that HD version, and then I will enhance it on Adobe Premiere, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So tip number 3, find a service that will create videos in HD 1080p for you based on the photos and clips, video clips that you upload yourself. It'll save you time, you'll thank me later. Tip number 4, superimpose yourself over the property video. All right, now, this took me a while to learn and to figure out through a lot of trial and error. And here's what I discovered. When I used to make my videos, I'd have a videographer stroll through the house, and don't get me wrong, it looked great, and they'd have kind of upbeat music. Sometimes they'd have classical music depending on the property, and you just do a stroll through the house, and maybe they'd have some drone imagery of the house. And while all that stuff was cool, really the only people that were looking at these videos were my sellers, my clients, me, a handful of agents, and maybe a handful of buyers. Most people weren't looking at the videos, okay? And here's why. Most people aren't gonna relate to just a house, right? But they will relate to you. And if you're on the video and you're speaking as if you're speaking directly to the consumer and you're having a conversation with them, not talking at them about the property, then it has a much broader impact. And so remember this, people relate to people. And if they see you talking about the property and giving all the wonderful selling features about the property, and you doing your job, which is to sell the property and to give them calls of action, right, during that video, then you're gonna get a lot more views. Right? Just recently did I discover this over the last couple of months. And so what I've been doing is I've been making sure that I put myself over the video. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. You can do a PIP, which is a picture in picture, And really, that's just you videoing yourself, and you can do it with a smartphone. Just make sure that it's horizontal. Video yourself, and then put it over that over the image, right? And it has to be HD. Everything has to be HD these days, okay? A minimum 1080p. Or you can do what I do, which is you get a green screen, you record yourself, you use Adobe Premiere, and then you use the keying effect, and then you just remove the green screen from the back, and you superimpose yourself over the video. Bottom line. People will relate to you more than they will relate to just seeing a stroll through the house. All right, so tip number 4, superimpose yourself over the video of the property. Tip number 5, make sure that you include text and call to actions on your video. So, in the past, again, when I hired videographers, we would film our videos and they would walk through the property and it would look great and it'd have background music, but really there wasn't any text involved. I wasn't on the videos, there wasn't anything really selling the property other than these boring walkthroughs. So, what I want you to do now is I've already taught you how to use your photos and your video clips and using tools like Magisto to create your videos, right? So you create the video, you download it, but Magisto does allow you the opportunity to create text, right? In transitions that will then show up. If you're gonna use Magisto to do it, then make sure that you include descriptions of the property, the bedroom and bathroom count, the address, where it's located, and special features, okay? Now, personally, what I do is, again, I'm a big Adobe Premiere guy, and so I will either outsource it to an editor or I will edit it myself. I'll download the HD video, I'll superimpose myself over the video, and then what I'll do is I'll use Adobe Premiere stock text headlines or Adobe Premiere stock, they're called MOGRTs, motion graphic templates, to help me create the transitions that I want. And those things are already made for me, so I don't really have to learn any programming. I can just go in there, type in the titles, type in the descriptions, adjust the size, and adjust the colors. I can't adjust the way that they flow in or fly out. I can't adjust that stuff, but the truth is they've already created that template. Just take advantage of it. So you have two options, right? Number one, you can use the online services that does allow you to edit the texts. If you're gonna be editing the graphics yourself, then just make sure that you buy these templates from Adobe. They're called MOGRTs, motion graphic templates, okay? So tip number 5, make sure that you include text to sell the property and call to actions. So look, I know what it's like to be an agent, okay? You gotta market yourself so that you can get the client. You gotta market the property so that you can satisfy the client and get the property sold. And then after you're done getting the property sold, you gotta market yourself so that you could keep the client and get new clients. It's a part of our business. You can't escape that. So you might as well get good at it. So using the tips that I've given you today, the 5 tips, those are tips that are relatively cheap that you can use to make sure that your videos get more views so that it's not just you and your client looking at these videos, right? And you can actually use them to market yourself. And the best part about this is that these videos are evergreen. In other words, if you put them on YouTube, if you put them on your website and you keep them there, people can go back and they can see those videos and you can see how it is that you're marketing your home. On top of that, you need to be sharing these videos on all social media platforms. So you need to be sharing them on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, RIP, right? You need to share these videos on those social media platforms so that other people can see them as well. I hope you enjoyed this training. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt it is going to help you. I've seen the impact that it's had on me and my business and on the number of views that have happened to the videos that I post regularly now. So subscribe, make sure you click the alerts button below, make sure you comment. If you have any other questions about how I'm doing this and how I'm implementing these tools, or if you're having any challenges, I'd love to hear from you. Talk to you soon. Cheers to your success.